I still put your name on things sometimes, not out loud, just when I'm filling out forms or writing down emergency contacts. My hand moves toward the letters before I remember. I cross it out, write someone else's. But the first impulse is always you. I've been listening to the same album before I sleep for years now. You never knew about it. I found it after. But somehow it feels like it belongs to the time when you were still here, even though that doesn't make sense. The third track has a piano part that sounds like rain on a window. I used to fall asleep on your couch while you worked late in the next room. The sound of your keyboard, the occasional shift of your chair. I'd wake up with a blanket over me that I didn't put there. I tried other music, tried silence, tried podcasts and white noise and all the things people say help. But I keep coming back to this. Same album, same order. I know exactly where the piano comes in, where the strings start, where the gap is between the fourth and fifth track that's just long enough to make me think it's over. It's not about the music, really. I think it's about the routine, the fact that something has stayed the same. You used to say I was terrible at keeping things, that I'd rearrange the apartment every few months just to feel like I was starting over. You'd come home and the couch would be facing a different wall, and you'd stand there in the doorway with your bag still on your shoulder, just shaking your head. But I've kept this. 18 minutes and 43 seconds every night. I know it by heart now. Could probably hum the whole thing start to finish. Sometimes I try to fall asleep before it ends, like it's a test I'm failing, but I never do. I always hear the last note fade out. Then I start it again. People ask if I'm okay. I say yes, I function, I work, I see friends, I laugh at the right times, but there's this small window at night between getting into bed and actually falling asleep, where I don't have to pretend the day is complete, where I can just let something be unfinished. I read once that routines are a way of controlling time, that they give shape to things that would otherwise just blur together. I don't know if that's true. Mostly, it just feels like I'm doing the same thing you used to do when you'd check the locks twice before bed. You'd go around the whole apartment, front door, back door, windows. I used to tell you it was unnecessary, that we lived on the fourth floor, that you'd already checked. But you'd do it anyway. I get it now. I still check my phone before I press play, still leave it face up on the nightstand even though no one's going to call. Still keep the volume at 14, not 15, because that's the level where I can hear it clearly, but it won't be too loud if I fall asleep and it keeps going. You used to say I overthink things, that I make everything more complicated than it needs to be. Maybe you were right. Maybe it's just an album. Maybe it doesn't mean anything that I've listened to it 500 and something times. Maybe it's not connected to you at all, but I don't think I believe that. There's a line in the second song. The singer's voice cracks just slightly on one word. You'd probably never notice it unless you were listening for it, but I hear it every time. It's the kind of imperfection that makes something feel real, like proof that it actually happened, that someone was in a room somewhere singing and their voice broke just a little and they left it in. I used to think about deleting it, starting fresh, finding new music, letting myself fall asleep in silence or to something else. But every time I try, I end up back here. I wonder sometimes if you'd understand, if I could explain it in a way that would make sense. You were always better at letting things go, at moving forward, at not carrying small moments around like they were something solid. I thought I'd be like that too, eventually. That time would smooth it out, that I'd wake up one day and realize I didn't need this anymore, that I'd forgotten to press play and slept fine without it. But it's been years now, and I'm still here, still listening, still counting the space between tracks, still waiting for the piano to come in. I don't know what I'm holding on to exactly. Not you. You're not in this music. You never heard it. But maybe it's the idea that some part of my day is still set aside, that before everything goes quiet, there's this small window where I don't have to be done with anything, where I can just let 18 minutes pass without deciding what they mean. The album ends the same way every time. No fade, just a stop. And then there's silence. And I lie there for a while before I start it over. I still do that sometimes. Lie there, listen to the quiet. Wonder if you'd say something if you could, if you'd tell me to move on, or if you'd understand why I can't. I used to think I'd know when it was time to let this go, that it would feel obvious, that I'd wake up one morning and just not need it anymore. But I think maybe that's not how it works. Maybe some things don't end because they're supposed to. They just stay, small and private and unremarkable. And you keep them because they're yours, because no one else knows about them, because in a life where so much has changed, it's the one thing that hasn't. So I still listen, every night, same album, same order, same volume, before I sleep, and maybe I always will.